Good morning, all. We look forward to our conversation this morning and giving you some updates about our fall plans. With that in mind, you will be on mute for this session, but you are more than welcome to engage with us in the chat. So go ahead and use that chat feature. We will be recording this session for those who aren't able to join us right now. And then for the best view, go ahead and make sure you have speaker view selected for this presentation. So with that, again, we wanted to provide this opportunity for some Q&A about our plans for the fall term. This will continue to be a fluid plan as we receive guidance from the CDC and from WHO and local and federal guidelines. So we thank you for your understanding as we continue to put the health and the safety of our community and our students, you, first. So with that health and safety of mind this spring, we had some really great campus partners that I just want to give a shout out to and introduce you to, and that is our partners at DormPack. They helped us swiftly transition all of our students home, and we were so thankful for them. So with that, we're going to do a quick shout out for them.
What we ask you to do is set aside the items you're going to take home.
We had a no audio challenge, so I'm going to go ahead and
I'm Paul.
And I'm Allison. Welcome parents and students to Jacksonville University. Go Dolphins.
So let me tell you a little bit about DormPack Pros. What we do is we provide a service to the university that allows your student to focus on the finals, and we'll take care of the rest. Student, during that last week of your finals, you're in class, you're studying, you're putting everything into it. The last thing you're thinking about is packing your items up to go home. That's where we come in. What we ask you to do is set aside the items you're going to take home, and we'll take care of the rest. That means we'll come in, we'll pack up your items, we'll store them in our climate control facility, and we'll deliver them to you back in the fall. It's a real simple solution for you, and it takes a lot of stress off of being a parent. Allison can attest to that.
Definitely. I like to call myself the inspiration because students, you will come in with a little and you'll leave with a lot.
So any questions, please email us at info@dormpackpros.com, or you can call toll free from anywhere in the United States at 888-357-2256.
So again, thank you so much to our partners at DormPack Pros. They really allowed us to help swiftly transition our students back home this spring. So if you have questions for them, we have some folks in the chat able to answer those questions for you, or you can reach out to them directly. And so with that, we're gonna jump in and meet some of our panelists, as well as get some overview information before we open it up for Q&A. Reminder, you can use the chat feature for our Q&A session to answer your questions, and I will make sure to direct those questions to our panelists.
I am Jamie Burkett, and I am the Assistant Dean of Students, and I'll be walking us through the fall operations plan. I wanted to just let you all know how we developed the plan. We worked with and followed guidelines published by a lot of organizations, including the CDC, World Health Organization, ACHA. We also worked with a team from Mayo Clinic's infectious disease unit, and we consulted with them on a lot of our operations as well. And when we were looking to ensure the campus community was ready to bring back students and employees, we decided to focus on three main mitigation strategies. That's prioritizing physical space, and what that means is, students in this environment have not been on our campus before for these normal interactions, but you're going to see more virtual meetings than would normally occur on campus. If you go into a physical building, you're going to see strips on the ground saying to stand here and to keep physical distance. You're going to see plexiglass shields just to protect, an added layer of safety and precaution. You're also going to see some reduced seating in different areas around campus. We're really focusing on increased sanitation and disinfection from a couple of different areas, both for hand hygiene as well as surface disinfection. And then that all will be coupled and supported by behavioral signage, both focusing on hand hygiene, the social distancing, and some new capacity protocols in certain areas. Our big three guiding principles, and these are ones that are probably not a stranger to anyone who's been reading up any kind of guidelines and recommendations out there, but really focusing on campus with social distancing, so maintaining at least 6 feet of physical distance between everybody, face coverings, using those in indoor environments, and then the hand hygiene. And we strongly believe that that those three in combination with each other is the best strategy for moving forward. And we're going to help get you started. All students, all of our residential students will receive a JU branded face cloth, a personal sanitizer, a temperature card featuring information from our student health center, as well as some educational material just enforcing and showing you how to be safe on campus and to be a responsible member of the community. We're also looking at enhancing and adding some outdoor areas to help support students as we ask them to social distance, being outside, and we have a beautiful campus. We're in Florida, some beautiful weather. So we're enhancing some of our outdoor spaces to encourage them to step outside, get some fresh air. Some of those are going to look like, we'll have some added hammock villages on campus, and what those are hammock poles. Students love the one we currently have. You bring your own hammock. So we are enhancing with a bunch more of those around campus and some shaded areas and some additional seating. And we're really specifically looking at that residential environment to add these enhancements. Our university has Aramark is our campus partner, both for dining and facility services. There'll be a session later in orientation focusing on dining, but just know that both of our partners have definitely focused on the enhanced program to ensure the safety and health and operations of both the food service on campus as well as the housekeeping services. And on a cleaning side, just know that we have agreed to increase frequency of cleaning, enhance high touch points. And then it is also important to know, though, that cleaning is everyone's responsibility. Your personal space, keep it clean, keep it sanitized, and it's not just on a housekeeping staff, it is all of our campus responsibility. And then respect. You're going to hear about respect in our code of conduct in later sessions, but I'll just kind of drop the seed here that our code of conduct is rooted in respect, and we are a campus of respect. And there's 5 areas that we touch upon, and that is respect for self, respect for others, respect for authority, property, and honesty. And when it comes to our COVID-19 policies, we're going to ask students to comply and to adhere to what we're saying. And respect for others, respect for authority is kind of our conduct module, and for when, if you don't want to adhere to our policies, there are means for us to kind of talk you through that through our code of conduct.
Thanks, Jamie. I'm Elaine Bourne. I am a nurse practitioner, and I am the executive director for our Student Health Center. The Student Health Center is new to Jacksonville University. In all of our years, we've never had a health center on our campus. So we're super excited about bringing this to our campus. We are still in the development phases. I'm still working on the build out, but we plan to be ready when students return to campus and start classes on August the 17th. So let me give you a little information of where we will be located. We are in the new Health Sciences Complex on the first floor, and I've given you a picture here so that you can see what it looks like. If you are on University Boulevard heading north of our campus, you will see this building from University Boulevard. And on the first floor, just through those doors that you can see there to your left, will be the Student Health Center. We have operational hours of 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. We're closed on Saturday and Sunday. And any school holidays or when the campus is closed, we will not provide services at the Student Health Center. We are asking right now for you to schedule your appointments. There's a couple of options to be able to schedule your appointments. You can do this online through what's called the patient portal. We are in the process of developing our Student Health Center website, should be finished in the next week. And on that Student Health Center website, you will notice some information there that talks about the patient portal, services you can really receive at the Student Health Center. And if you will click on that button in the patient portal, you will be able to schedule yourself an appointment, or you can simply call the Student Health Center at the number we have posted on our website to schedule an appointment. So what type of services will we provide at the Student Health Center? We are really a primary care type provider center. We'll take care of your allergies if you develop a upper respiratory infection, a cough, flu-like symptoms, even COVID-like symptoms. And we are working through that process of how we will help you manage that if you do develop symptoms. We will take care of simple things such as heartburn and indigestion, urinary tract infection, even things such as sexually transmitted diseases and treatment for that, and even as well as the partner. On our next slide, we can see also some, if you have a minor injury, such as a cut or a burn or even a sprain or a strain, we can take care of those for you. We will focus a lot on health and wellness. We'll talk about sexual health, and we'll do a lot of screening with you as well, and talk about how we can help you maintain your health. And you know, one of our missions and our goal with the Student Health Center is to really help you manage your own health care. And so we're going to be partnering with you to help you understand what your illness may be, provide you good education and then good follow-up, and really help you over these next few years that while you're with us here at JU is to really teach you to manage your health. And when you come into a problem, a difficulty, an illness, to teach you how to manage that in partnership with your provider. We will be able to provide some in-house lab services, you know, a strep test, a flu test, mono. We'll even be able to test for a rapid COVID-19, which will give us results in approximately 15 minutes. We'll be able to do that on campus. Some other things, a urinalysis, we can test for tuberculosis by doing a PPD. So oftentimes there are nursing students or those who need to go into a healthcare setting for part of their clinical assignment, and they're required to complete a PPD. We'll be able to do that in the Student Health Center for you. There are some costs associated with those, and you'll be able to find the cost associated with some of those services on the patient portal on our website for the Student Health Center. Some other services we can provide if you have a chronic illness such as Crohn's or asthma or diabetes, we can help co-manage those with your healthcare expert, and we can do that on our Student Health Center site. If there is a service that needs to be provided that is outside of the scope of the Student Health Center, so let's say we did an x-ray on your foot and there was some type of abnormality there, we would refer you out to orthopedics to be seen. The services, those who are eligible for services are those who are undergraduate or graduate students who take classes on our campus. Those individuals will pay a student wellness fee, and that student wellness fee helps to pay for services within our Student Health Center. So it covers that visit, but if there's additional things such as testing that needs to be performed or any type of procedures, there's an additional cost for that, or lab tests. And medications that we may need to give there in the Student Health Center, there's an additional cost for that as well. So you can see here, I've posted what our Student Health Center webpage will look like. This is where you will see it on the JU website. And you see how I've put an arrow down here for you. That's where the patient's portal is located. You'll be able to click into that patient portal, which connects directly to your electronic medical record system. And it gives you the ability to securely send an email to your healthcare provider, securely set up an appointment. That is a secure system and a patient portal that you will be able to access from our website. There's some other important information that will be on this patient portal. There's a questionnaire there for you, a health questionnaire that we are asking you to complete. You will be able to do that online simply clicking buttons, and it will automatically upload into our EMR record, as well as there may be some other forms there that you need to download or complete. So I encourage you to go on that patient portal to find that information that you need to complete prior to starting classes in the fall. We look forward to seeing you and helping to support you in your healthcare.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Sherry Jackson. I'm a professor of psychology, and I'm currently serving as vice provost at Jacksonville University. And I'm here to talk to you about the academic side of things for the fall semester. So as you're all aware, we have changed the fall calendar. Classes will now begin on Monday, August 17th, and they will run through November 24th, which is the Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. And by compressing or altering the calendar in that way, it allows us to still have the same number of meeting days as we had in the original calendar, but it will get everybody home before the Thanksgiving holidays and have you there until spring semester begins in mid-January. We also have instituted some technology requirements that are new to JU this year. So all incoming students are required to have possession or access of a laptop, computer, or other appropriate technology. All of our classrooms are being updated with new technology that will allow faculty to stream classes to students who are not in the classroom, while at the same time having students in the classroom. And everybody will be able to interact, see, hear, and speak with those who are remote and those who are in the classroom. Our technology requirements, you can find them if you're not already familiar with them. You can find them on the admissions page at the link that I have here. So if you go through the JU admissions page, there is a technology, and click on the technology requirement link, you can see exactly what the requirements are. We have changed the way that we deliver classes slightly. So most of our classes for traditional undergraduates are normally face-to-face classes, and we have a few classes in a normal semester that would be online. And so obviously, due to COVID restrictions, we can't have as many students in classrooms as we normally would. So most of our classes are small and usually have about 20 to 25 students in them, and that would really max out the space in the classroom. So we have had to modify the way that many classes are delivered. If you're in a class that has a very low enrollment, and many upper level classes do, they might have fewer than 10 students, your class will probably just be a traditional face-to-face class. So whether it meets Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whether it meets Tuesday, Thursday, you'll be attending every single day, because social distancing is an option when there are so few students in the class. But for many of the classes that have more like 20 to 25 students in them, and many of the freshman level classes are like this, you would have more of what is called a split section delivery. And the split section delivery means that your professor may tell you, hey, we have 25 people in the class, we can only have 12 or 13 in the classroom at a time, so half of you will attend on Tuesday, the other half will attend on Thursday, and when you're not here, you would participate virtually. So the class will be streamed to you live, and you'll be able to participate in the class virtually. Some classes are hybrid, and those again are just for small classes that have probably 12 or fewer students in them, and that means that you might meet one day a week, and then everybody would be doing the class virtually the other day. A few classes are online, completely online, but we don't normally deliver that many classes completely online. So if your class is listed as online, that means that it meets asynchronously. And then you may also see that some classes are listed as being virtual or virtual hybrid. Those are usually reserved for graduate programs, but there there may be an occasional undergraduate class that is offered virtually, and that means that it's online but completely synchronous. So you have to be in class virtually on the specified days and times. We've also had to modify the way laboratory courses are delivered. And that might mean, again, that you alternate weeks, and that on the week that you're not in the lab, that you're doing it virtually. PPE will be provided to laboratory instructors. As in all classes, you're required to wear a cloth face covering. It doesn't matter whether it's lab or a regular class, but there may be some additional PPE required for some of the laboratory classes, and your lab instructors will let you know that. We also have experiential learning opportunities on campus, and some things that freshmen might be involved in. We have service learning classes where as part of the class requirement, you go out into the community and you're doing service work that is related to the class topic. And those classes we think are going to proceed. All indications are that the agencies with whom we usually work want our students there. And as long as they can practice social distancing and wear face masks, and which are required, that those types of activities would still take place. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. Hi, everyone. My name is Jenny. I'm the Director of Residential Life. And I know that residential life encompasses so many hot topics. And so right now I'm going to be focused on the fall preparedness around our current environment in residential life. The first main event that happens is move-in. And this is the time where, especially on the freshman side of things, we would typically welcome all of our freshmen in about 3 hours, and we would help and assist in unloading your vehicles. And that's something that we've been very proud of in the past. And so we've had to really shift and think about how we can create a positive experience for this first time that you're coming on campus and moving in, and yet really honor your safety and honor the fact that we're in a very unique environment right now. So there's a couple of different ways that we're doing that. One is that we are providing an early move-in. We're calling this an immunocompromised move-in. And we're really hoping that our student and parent community honors the reason that we have created this. We recognize that we do have students who either themselves or their family members are in an immunocompromised position. Maybe that's a student who has a parent going through chemotherapy right now. And so this is an opportunity for those families to say that they have some extra need to have an even further de-densified time where they can come and move some things in. Along with that, we are doing self-selected move-in time slots for the rest of our community. So freshmen will have time slots over 3 days, and they will select a 1 hour time slot. What that means is that that's the 1 hour where they will be checking in. So we anticipate the actual check-in to take about 5 minutes. So if your hour is 9 to 10, and you could do that at 9:05 or at 9:55, and that would be kind of the window of time that that group of students is going to be checking in. For that to work well, we do need them to spread out. So if there are 30 students for that hour, the hope is that those 30 students do spread out. If everybody shows up at 9:05, we'll have to ask people to wait outside or go back and wait in their vehicles, because there is that entire hour created for those students to go up to the desk and do their check-in. After that, families have the entire day to finish moving in. So the families that do have time slots on that day, that is their day to do move in and to finish the entire process of moving in their belongings. Since we cannot help you in the same way that we would like to, we will have a cart station. So we have purchased a pretty hefty amount of carts that we'll have in each of the halls, and we will have those available for checkout. We will be cleaning and sanitizing those as we go. I imagine it as some of the Targets that are on it right now with their cart cleaning, or Trader Joe's, and we'll be cleaning those and checking them out to families so that will hopefully help since we are not able to carry your belongings anymore. We will be asking everyone to wear masks. Starting at the first day of classes, we will change our mask policy in the residential facilities. We will recommend that students wear masks, and we hope that many will still. But we also recognize that this is their home, and their space on campus. But up until the first day of classes, from early move-in through our traditional move-ins, we will be asking every individual within the halls to wear a mask. Following the date of your move-in, we ask that families no longer access the hall. So we will have some freshmen moving in on Wednesday, and that's their day. And then we will have other freshmen moving in on Thursday, and that's their day. And so we're, again, trying to just de-densify the people that we have in the halls and respect the time that is yours and the time that is someone else's. When students go in their room, they're going to find a welcome kit. So while you will need to have a mask because you will have to have a mask to enter the building, we will also be giving all students a JU branded mask along with some educational materials, a thermometer, and some hand sanitizer. So in the hall, what you will find on this next slide is several things are going to look different. So we're going to have increased hand sanitizing stations, especially at our entrances and exits. We're also going to have an abundance of wipe stations, especially in our community bathrooms. So 3 of our residential facilities do have community restrooms. In those community restrooms, students are going to find hand sanitizing wipe stations. And what that means is that even though Airmark is increasing our cleaning, they're going to be cleaning those spaces twice a day. We're going to also ask students to clean up after themselves, to wipe down the spaces that they have used in between use in those community spaces. Also in every community space, so in every study space, in every lobby space, those wipes will be there so that students can clean up after themselves. And we will also have staff that work at our desk that will help in between cleaning that Airmark does. Our staff is going to be trained. We will be given cloth-based masks, and down to our student staff members will be trained and able to respond as needed and help in the cleaning as needed. We will still have students sitting at our front desk. They will have barriers and we will have markers on the floor, but we will still have our student staff and our professional staff available in a very similar way.
So we're going to talk a little bit about student engagement and how to get involved on campus. And so with that, we are going to have a variety of different ways for you to still get involved here at JU. We will have a virtual engagement fair. We will still have fraternity and sorority recruitment, intramural sports, club sports, esports, and our fitness center. So there will be a lot of different opportunities. A great announcement is we will be getting all brand new equipment for our fitness center, which is a really exciting addition. We will still have student groups and gatherings, but they will be limited to 10 individuals. We are asking that external guests during this time will not be permitted at student events to keep within our community. Our organizations will offer alternative meeting formats, so we are going to make sure that we have platforms available for them to continue meeting and still connecting with one another. And also with all of that additional space that's been provided to our students, we will have outdoor space available for meetings when possible. So with that, we've seen a lot of questions come through in the chat. So we want to make sure we can start answering some of those as well as some questions that were already submitted. So going to kick it off with, if a student starts to show symptoms of COVID, what happens and how much does a test cost at the Student Health Center? So can I have Jamie and Dr. Bourne jump in and answer those questions for us?
All right,
Sure.
so, Jamie,
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Elaine.
Okay. So if, say that question again. If you develop symptoms, what does the student need to do?
Yeah, if a student starts to show symptoms of COVID, what happens and how much is that test going to cost at the Student Health Center?
Sure, absolutely. So if you develop symptoms of COVID, so you have a sore throat, you have a cough, you have a headache, your body aches, you're not feeling well, and oftentimes we've heard those say they're like flu-like symptoms, which this is very different from the flu, but the symptoms can be similar. You would want to call the Student Health Center and let us know that you are having those symptoms. And at that point in time, we will make a decision on how you need to be evaluated. What we're trying to do with COVID-19 is we're really trying to contain this as best we can to help prevent the spread to other individuals. And so as soon as you begin to have symptoms, you need to remove yourself. If you're in a classroom, remove yourself. If you're in your dorms, go ahead, or in your residence hall, remain in your room and contact the Student Health Center and let us know that you are having these symptoms. And we will give you guidance at that point on how we will go about evaluating you and even testing you at that point if it's deemed necessary. I hope that answers your question. Jamie, you jump in there.
I think the other question they had, Elaine, is just about cost associated with that.
Yes, absolutely. Forgot to mention that one. Yes, so we are looking at how we will charge for this. We have a couple of options for testing in the Student Health Center. We will be able to do a rapid test right there in the Student Health Center, which will give us the results in about 15 minutes. We are looking at the cost of that and how students will pay for that cost. Know that we do not accept health insurance in the Student Health Center. We will give you a super bill that allows you to submit to your insurance company for reimbursement, and we will have all the needed information on that super bill. So we are looking at how much that cost will be if we do it there in the Student Health Center. We also have another option to do what's called a PCR test that we will send out to a laboratory company that we are using to provide our lab support that needs to be done outside of the Student Health Center. And then there is a cost for that. It's approximately, for that particular test, is approximately $60. And that is definitely less than what you would find at some other facility that would be close by, unless we send you to a federal site that they will do it for free. So we are working through all of that. There is a potential cost for students in the Student Health Center. And once we have a definite on that cost, we will post that on the patient portal, which will have the list of costs for any other test that you have done in the Student Health Center.
Perfect. Thank you, Dr. Bourne. One follow-up question that came up in the chat. If we have a student who maybe joins us at 17, they are technically still a minor, will they still be able to be seen at the health center without a parent?
Yes, they will, but the parent has to sign the consent. So when you go onto the patient portal, instead of being able to complete using electronic medical records to complete those documents, those have to be printed off in PDF form, and then the parent needs to fill it out and sign it. And we have many forms for that, for consent for treatment for those who are identified as minors.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's really helpful information. So this next question about masks. So Jamie, can you give us a little bit clarification on, are masks required everywhere? And there was a clarifying question about in the hall versus in their personal room. And so maybe Jenny could answer that for us after you give us an overview of campus, Jamie.
Sure, thanks. Yes, we do have a mask requirement on campus. And what that means is anytime you are in an indoor facility, so any building on campus, you will be asked and required to wear one. When it comes, as Jenny mentioned, when it comes to the residential experience, we are mandating that for the first, up until from move-in to the first day of school. What we're trying to do is to create some behaviors. It's a new thing, and it's going to take some time for students to remember to bring their masks. So we need to incorporate that into their daily routine. And then once classes start, you know, we want them to think of their residential experience as their home. You know, if you're in a communal space in the residential hall after that first week, it's still encouraged to wear it. Keep that 6 feet of distance. and still wear that face covering. It won't be a requirement, but we're hoping students will move in that direction. When you're in your personal space, and Jenny can speak to that as well, I mean, that's your room. I don't think there's an expectation from that standpoint, but when you're in the library, when you're in your academic class building, if you're going to Chick-fil-A, if you're going to the dining hall, those expectations will be there throughout the semester.
Yeah, I think that Jamie said it well. When we begin the semester through move-in, masks will be required in the hall unless the student or family of the student are within the student's designated space. So that would be within the student's room or within the student's apartment in our apartments. Outside of the student's designated space, students and anyone in the halls will be required to have a mask. On the first date of classes, we'll make sure we send out really good information that lets people know how that's changing. At that point, that would just be changing for students because we're not allowing anyone who's a non-JU student to be in the halls for our fall semester. So for the fall semester, we have a no guest policy. So anyone that is not a JU student won't be in the halls. And so that's another reason why we feel confident in kind of moving to recommended versus required, because at that point, we'll be in a state where we only have the students who live on campus in the halls.
Awesome, thank you. So there's been some questions about what happens if my roommate shows symptoms of COVID, or will students be notified if a student has COVID on campus? So could we chat a little bit about that?
Sure, I will start. And then maybe Jamie or Dr. Gover can cover what I miss on. But I would just say we will still have the things in place that students are accustomed to as far as having individuals to contact when they're in need. So we have staff members that are on call 24/7, 365 days a year, both student staff members and professional staff members. And all of those individuals will be trained to respond to a roommate's concern or a student themselves feeling concerned that they now have a fever and it's 10 o'clock at night and they're not sure what to do. So we're going to be trained and ready to respond to those students, to give those students instructions. As far as what happens if a student's roommate does test positive for COVID, any student that tests positive for COVID is going to be in isolation. And then what happens is we engage in contact tracing. And so what that looks like is we have a group of people on campus that are certified in contact tracing. We engage in that process. Students that are identified in that process will then be contacted. If they're residential, they're going to be contacted by myself, and they will be told what they need to do with their next steps. That doesn't always mean that it is the roommate. It's likely that it would be the roommate, but we do have students that actually engage with other students more often than they necessarily even stay in their room or engage with their roommate. So we're not going to make assumptions. We're going to engage in that contact tracing, and then we will go from there.
And I will just add that that any positive test, and even through the contact tracing process, it's a confidential process. So a student's name is not being released. If you test positive, your name is not being released to anyone else. This is a confidential process. If you are a close contact, if you're identified as someone who has been in close contact with someone who has tested positive, the message will be you have been identified as someone who may have had close contact with someone who tested positive. But confidentiality is a big part of this process, and that's important to know as well from both sides.
And I'll add to that as well, that it is important for you as the student or family, whoever's on this call today, to have a conversation about what your plan is if your student either tests positive and has to be isolated, or if your student has to be quarantined. And we are in a position, and we've been preparing for this at the university, to provide space. However, I think that it is important to recognize the emotional and mental health component of being isolated and being quarantined, and that your student may be more comfortable doing that at home. And you may want to have a conversation about coming down here and picking them up, or driving here and picking them up. As for the parental notification piece, parental notification is a part of our standard policy if a student is going to be hospitalized or transported to the hospital. However, in the COVID-19 process mapping, we will verify that the student has made contact with their family as well. And that's really the most important piece, is just making sure that the student has reached out. And in more cases than not, the parents know before we do. And that's a good thing, because that means the lines of communication are open with you. But I do encourage you to talk about the lines of communication. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you so much. This question's for Dr. Jackson. There's been some questions or comments in the chat about what will the fine arts look like for our performing arts majors. Are there opportunities for them to still participate in in-person classes, and are masks required during that piece?
Sorry, having technical difficulties. So what will classes look like for fine arts? Yes, masks are required everywhere in any classroom, so masks are required. You might have additional PPE for some of the fine arts classes, such as glass blowing and other things might require additional PPE other than just masks, and your instructors are taking care of that, and they will let you know. Many of the fine arts classes are already small enough that they can continue to meet as a traditional class. So there will, for many of the fine arts classes, there really will not be any change from any other semester. But as with all of the classes at JU, if there are too many students registered in the class to allow for social distancing, then they have chosen some other method of delivery, and most commonly that's going to be the flex or split section method of delivery, where students would rotate and only attend 1 or 2 days a week and participate virtually after that. So very similar to what's happening elsewhere. Some classes have been moved to larger spaces so that all students can attend every single class, but it should be noted in your schedule what the classes are like. If it just says JU, that means you're in that classroom every single day and on those days and times that are noted. If it says split section or flex, then it's what I just described, and those are going to be the two most common types of delivery. A few classes, I saw a question in the chat about hybrid classes. Hybrid means that you're meeting 1 day a week, everybody together, and then it's online for everybody after that. So it would have to be a very small, low enrolled class in order to be hybrid. So there are very few classes listed as hybrid. There are also very few classes listed as completely online. So most of them will be split section or completely face-to-face.
Awesome, thank you so much, Dr. Jackson. So we have time for just a couple more questions before we wrap up for today. Can we chat a little bit more about getting involved on campus? So I know it's been a big concern for students coming to campus, like how will I still meet people and how will I get involved? So Dr. Gover, can you chat a little bit more about that?
Sure. Thanks, Ami. We have a lot of different opportunities for students to get involved, and we're really trying to be creative here with creating opportunities for students to get engaged. If you live on campus, there will be natural opportunities through your residence hall, and your RA will help you get connected and get engaged. We also will have a virtual involvement fair so that you can learn about the different clubs and organizations that we have available to students. We will also have fraternity and sorority recruitment. That will be sort of a hybrid model as well. So part of that will be virtual and part of that will be in person. So if you're interested in joining a fraternity or a sorority, our intramural programs, we're looking at sort of low impact, low interaction intramural programs this fall, like spike ball and things of that nature. So we're still exploring the ability to have our club sports play, and we're really leaning on those national organizations to provide us with some guidelines on whether or not we'll be able to play our club sports. And our fitness center will be open, as well as our esports lounge and our Buccaneer room, with reduced capacity and some mitigation strategies in place. Specifically in the fitness center, students will have to sign up for times to work out that will allow us to limit the number of people who work out and do the proper cleaning in between workouts. We also have an outdoor swimming pool, and we will allow students to spend time at the pool, and we have a limited capacity there as well. Thanks, Ami.
Awesome, thank you. And then a question came in the chat for Dr. Bourne. Are prescriptions able to be filled at the Student Health Center?
We cannot fill the prescription at the Student Health Center, but we will write you a prescription and it will be sent electronically to the pharmacy that you identify. We have a couple of pharmacies right there close to JU. We have the CVS right across the street that you can walk over and get your prescription filled. So we will not physically fill it in the Student Health Center, but we will write it and send it to your pharmacy for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was really helpful. I think this has been a really great conversation for some of the questions that have come up. I know there may be some questions that we haven't been able to get to today, but we will make sure that we are having the chat downloaded and we will follow up as needed. So thank you so much to our panelists for joining us today, and we will be in touch. So again, thank you so much, and we look forward to welcoming you this fall.